Welcome to News Video Clip. As we all know, MAGA voters are just mindless sheep who do whatever Donald Trump tells them to do. And this was on full display yesterday in Kentucky, where they held a Republican primary. And Ed Gallrein, who was endorsed by Trump, was running against Thomas Massie. Now, you may remember Massie was one of the people who helped get the Epstein files out into the public, which is something Trump hated. So Trump endorsed his opponent, Ed Gallrein. So MS Now interviewed some of the people who voted for Gallrein, and they said they did it just because Trump told them to. This is wild.
What it all came back to was the fact that Gallrein was backed by President Trump. Take a listen to some of the voters I had spoken to. Again, these are Gallrein voters making it very clear the reason why they were with him was because of Donald Trump.
I'm not real, I don't like his personality at all. But that's who Trump told me to vote for, so that's what I'm doing.
I'm not just, all whatever Trump says kind of person, but, usually what his way of thinking is my way of thinking.
Actually, you are a whatever Trump says type of person. In fact, you just proved it, lady. Unbelievable. Look at the lack of self-awareness with these people. Are they missing, do they even have a functioning brainstem? It's mind-boggling. It is absolutely mind-boggling. We have another Trump voter who's in the news, but this is actually a very sad clip. This is a guy who called in to NPR to say that he and his wife are actually fasting because they can't afford groceries under Trump. And watch CNN host Aaron Burnett's reaction to this guy calling in.
I just try to do the cutting back that I could do in order to try to, survive until we make it through it. It's like anything else. It's a season. Cook, fast. Me and my wife had been, fasting, and it's like a lot of benefits, and including one of those benefits is saving money on groceries.
I mean, it's stunning. I can't stop thinking about it. That fasting is the solution. How do you...
This is absolutely mind-boggling. I share Aaron Burnett's shock. I mean, here in the richest country in the world, and people are having to fast. Trump supporters are fasting because of Trump's economic policies. His failed war in Iran, which is driving prices up, it's driving inflation up. His other economic policies, the big tax breaks for the rich. And yet these people are just, almost obediently suffering, saying, oh, it's just a season. No, this was actually preventable. This didn't have to happen. I'm sorry to say you voted for this, but I don't want any Americans going hungry, even if they're Trump voters. I think it is absolutely disgraceful. And meanwhile, Trump, of course, is building his $1 billion ballroom while this guy and his wife have to fast. Now, we're going to move on to another Trump supporter who isn't missing any meals, talking about Jeff Bezos, the billion-dollar guy who started Amazon. And he was on CNBC today, and he actually claimed that Trump has gotten more mature and disciplined in his second term. Listen to this insanity.
When I last interviewed you, it was about 2 years ago, President Trump had just won. He was not the president yet. And I had asked you what you thought of him at the time. And you said that you thought that he had mellowed, that he was calmer.
Yeah.
And I'm curious now, here we are.
Yeah, I still think that.
2 years later,
yeah,
we've had lots of wars and tariffs and all sorts of things that have happened since then. What do you think?
I think he has. I mean, I'm comparing him to his first term.
Yep.
And I think he is a more mature, more disciplined version of himself than he was in his first term.
So that is absolutely insane. That is nuts. And the guy interviewing him even mentioned the Iran war, which is now entering its 12th week, all of Trump's failed tariffs, which have also hurt the economy. And Jeff Bezos is pathetic. He's bending over and grabbing his ankles for Trump because Trump gave him and all the other billionaires a permanent tax break. That's right. Yes, the middle class got a temporary tax break that ends in 2027. But Bezos and Elon Musk and all those other billionaires got a permanent tax break. So once again, Trump is screwing the middle class for the ultra rich. Alrighty, now we're going to head off to Memphis, where ICE has literally taken control of the city. Now, if you haven't seen any videos on this, well, that's because you're not allowed to film ICE in Memphis, Tennessee. That's right. Mother Jones reports that Memphis, Tennessee is currently occupied by more than 2,700 officers as part of the Memphis Safe Task Force, which includes the Department of Homeland Security, that's ICE, other law enforcement agencies, and the National Guard. Officers have taunted residents. They shined bright lights at them, followed them in their cars. One community member was assaulted and jailed for trying to film ICE agents. But the good news is these Memphis residents are now filing a lawsuit with the help of the ACLU against this task force for violating their First Amendment rights, which includes recording the police. And the courts have upheld over and over that Americans are allowed to film the police. But Trump's fascist ICE agents aren't allowing them to. One of the plaintiffs in this lawsuit says that he was bumper rushed by police while he was driving. They came up behind him so quickly that it appeared a collision was imminent before he hit the brakes at the last second. Wow. Another guy recalls that an officer was driving quickly as he stood in a parking lot, swerving toward him, missing him by inches. And then a woman says that she was tackled by a task force officer simply for trying to film a traffic stop, which is legal. She was held down and the officer threatened to tase her before taking her to jail for resisting official detention. However, that bogus charge was later dropped because they were never going to get a conviction. And how ICE is getting away with this is they're using Tennessee's HALO law. And this criminalizes anyone who gets within 25 feet of an officer after they've been told to step away. So task force agents are invoking this law against peaceful observers who are not interfering, they're just filming, and even forcing them back even farther so the observers, the citizens, can't see what Trump's ICE thugs are doing. So remember, folks, the Republicans claim to be the party of freedom. Wow. How's that freedom working for you now? Total fascism. Alrighty, we do have links to all of our stories right below this video. Also, we do a very funny podcast. It's called Joe Sixpack, and that's what I'm pointing to. And I'm going to put a link to that also underneath this video. And it's pure comedy. It's like MAGA meets King of the Hill. And I think you guys will get a kick out of it. Alrighty, we hope that you will like and subscribe, or hate us and subscribe, or if you hate me, just please subscribe. All right, we'll be back later with more stories.